Hey guys, welcome back to Based MMA. UFC 295 just took place, guys. What an absolutely amazing card, man. This was an absolutely amazing card, especially the main card. I mean, there was literally no decisions. It was either a first round KO or a second round KO. It was absolutely incredible. And I have so many thoughts. And I'm going to start off with the main event. I'm going to start off with Yuri Prohaska versus Alex Pereira. And before I start talking about this fight and what ended up happening, please make sure to like and subscribe the video. Thank you guys for watching. And like I said, make sure to comment down below what you thought of the card. And you know, I I can't lie, guys. I didn't do too good when it came down to my main event and co-main event picks, which hurts, right? But at the end of the day, I acknowledge in those prediction videos that these are 50-50 fights, you know what I'm saying? And I'm only going to pick the guys that I think are going to win the fight and the reasons. And even though I've been getting my main predictions right for the main event and the co-main event, I still think that the breakdowns are, I'm picking the guys with good reasons, you know what I'm saying? Even though Yuri Prohaska lost this fight against Alex Pereira, and I still think that a lot of the things that I said in my breakdown were valid, such as, I thought Yuri Prohaska's unorthodox movement was going to give Alex Pereira a lot of problems, because Alex Pereira is used to fighting these kickboxers, these technical strikers, and somebody like Yuri Prohaska, he's hitting you with shots from angles that shouldn't even be thrown and from very weird angles. And Yuri Prohaska has a very unorthodox style, which, like I said in my video, could be something that works for him or it could be something that absolutely destroys him, right? Because with that style, it comes at a price. It comes at a price, and Yuri Prohaska paid the price. And I know there's a lot of argument of it potentially being an early stoppage. I can't lie, guys. When I first saw the stoppage, I thought that it was an early stoppage because on like when they show the angle, like watching the TKO live, it looked like you can't really see when Yuri Prohaska is necessarily out because it's like Mark Goddard is in the way in that camera angle. So you really can't tell if he was out. So initially, it felt like an early stoppage to me. It actually felt like an early stoppage. But rewatching it, and then obviously Yuri Prohaska came out and said that it was a good stoppage. So if Yuri Prohaska said it was a good stoppage and he was out, then how can I argue that it was an early stoppage? And that wasn't even my argument. I didn't even think it was an early stoppage. I thought it was a good stoppage. I thought that it could have gone a little bit longer, but like I said, the ref, his job is to stop the fight once he sees that the fighter's out, and Yuri Prohaska was badly hurt. And the thing that was crazy too is that it seemed like Yuri Prohaska was able to get some momentum. I mean, let's talk about the fight right off the beginning. I mean, Alex Pereira was very cautious. He was seeing what Yuri Prohaska was doing. He was leg kicking Yuri Prohaska's leg was destroyed. And I think Alex Pereira only hit him with like 4 leg kicks and then absolutely destroyed Yuri Prohaska's leg, which is something we talked about, right? It's something we talked about when it came down to the prediction and breakdown, that Yuri Prohaska's style, his wide stance was going to leave him very open to Alex Pereira's leg kicks. And even though Yuri Prohaska's kind of used to moving away from leg kicks instead of checking him, the thing is that Alex Pereira doesn't really telegraph the leg kicks, so it was going to be very hard for Yuri Prohaska to avoid the leg kicks. So Alex Pereira did a really good job in that first round of pretty much destroying Yuri Prohaska's legs, and Yuri was pretty much done. Like, it looks like he was limping. I was like, man, watching that, I was like, Alex Pereira's about to knock him out here. I really thought Alex Pereira was about to KO him in the very first round, but Yuri was able to survive. He gets like a really weird takedown. Like, the takedown that Yuri Prohaska went for, it almost looked like in slow motion, but he was able to get the takedown. He takes Alex Pereira down, and Alex Pereira does a really good job of staying on guard and not really letting Yuri Prohaska land a lot of clean elbows, a lot of clean shots. I mean, Yuri Prohaska did land some elbows on the ground, but it wasn't enough to really say that Yuri Prohaska, in my opinion, won the round. I thought Alex Pereira won the round because he landed the leg kicks, and obviously that was the most damaging thing of that round. So I gave that first round to Peloton. And then the second round started, and it looked like Yuri Prohaska was getting some momentum. I mean, he was really landing a lot of shots, landing a nasty right hand on Pereira, and it looked like Pereira was a bit stunned, but Pereira was able to survive. And right when Yuri had him against the fence, I think it was like there was a minute left of that second round. He just clips Yuri with a right hand and then a short left hand that drops Yuri. Yuri seems like he's holding on to the legs. Alex Pereira lands a lot of elbows. And yeah, that was pretty much the story of the fight. I wish it would have gone a little bit longer, but I think it was a good stoppage at the end of the day. And like I said, like Yuri Prochazka said, it was a good stoppage. And Mark Goddard's job is to, stop the fight when he thinks that the fighter's out. And Yuri Prochazka admitted himself that he was out. So like, how can we argue that it was an early stoppage? We have to admit that it was a good stoppage, right? It was a weird KO, right? Because it wasn't like a clean KO. It looked like Yuri Prochazka was still holding on, but you could clearly see that he was out, even though his hands are still there. He was out, and maybe when Mark Goddard stopped it, it looked like Yuri Prochazka was back. But like I said, Mark Goddard is gonna stop the fight when he sees that Yuri Prochazka is out. Not necessarily. He's not gonna wait and see when Yuri Prochazka recovers. You know what I'm saying? Because Yuri was out. Like he was out. So at the end of the day, it was a good stoppage. It was a good fight, amazing fight as long as it lasted. We knew that both these guys had the power to knock each other out. And like I said, I think that even though I got my main event pick wrong, I thought my breakdown of Yuri Prochazka winning, and like I said, I picked Yuri Prochazka to win in the later rounds. And I was like, okay, Pereira wins. I believe Pereira wins either in the first two rounds. And it looked like Yuri Prochazka, like I said, was getting some momentum in this fight. He was landing really good shots. He had Pereira against the cage, where I thought that was really dangerous, right? Because I think Yuri is really dangerous when he has his opponents against the cage. I mean, we've seen how he's landed nasty elbows, how he dropped Ozdemir with that right hand. So I thought Pereira was in a lot of trouble, but he was able to clip Yuri Prochazka coming in. And Yuri Prochazka, he has an amazing style, man. He has an amazing style. He's able to instill violence, but I worry about Yuri Prochazka's longevity with that kind of style, man, because that style is very easy to exploit. He has a wide stance. He's going to get leg kicked to his liverines, and then also like his chin is going to start to wear out. I feel like Yuri Prochazka in these last 3 UFC fights, he's kind of depended a lot on his durability, but as you start to get clipped more and more in fights, your durability starts to go away. So I think Yuri Prochazka is gonna need to make some improvements in his style. I know that it's part of his style. It might be very hard, but he needs to find ways to be still defensively sound. I know he likes to move away from punches, and that works sometimes, but we've seen in this fight game, especially in these heavier weight classes, all it takes is one punch. All it takes is one punch and you're hurt and you're down. And even though I think Yuri Prochazka still has pretty good durability, it just wasn't his night. We saw how Glover Teixeira hurt him on the feet. Dominic Reyes hurt him as well a couple times in that fight. Ozdemir also hurt him in that fight. And I think this could have happened, right? This could have happened. I thought Yuri Prochazka was going to be able to win the fight. I predicted Yuri Prochazka a third round KO. And it almost looked like it was pointing in that direction, but Pereira was able to hurt him in the last minute of the second round. Incredible performance by Alex Pereira, man. It's absolutely incredible what this man has been able to do in his very short MMA career. He became the middleweight champion, beat Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya had never lost in the middleweight division. Loses a rematch, comes back, moves up a weight class, fights Jan, gets a split decision victory, and now is able to become the UFC light heavyweight champion, which is absolutely incredible. And Alex Pereira is not that young. I believe he's like 36, 37 years old. So I see him maybe defending one or two more times and then calling it a career. But I still think there's a lot of holes in Alex Pereira's game that still shows that it's relevant in this fight. Like, it wasn't like necessarily like a clean performance by Alex Pereira. I still think he has a little bit of a suspect chin, has a little bit of a suspect defense, and I just think that Alex Pereira doesn't respond too well to punches, even though his chin did look a bit better on this fight. But I think he was also lucky in the fact that Yuri Prochazka style is very unorthodox. And like, he's not very technical, and I think that somebody that's a little bit more technical would have really caught Alex Pereira in a lot of those exchanges, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I think if Jamal Hill is next, I think Jamal Hill wins that fight. I think Jamal Hill is a lot better on the feet. And, maybe Alex Pereira has that chance of KOing him, but I just think that Alex Pereira is not as fast in the light heavyweight division as he is in the middleweight division. Like, in the middleweight division, he looks faster. His reactions look faster, and at light heavyweight. I don't know what it is, but he just looks a lot slower. He looks a lot slower. So we'll see what happens. I still think this is absolutely incredible. I hope Jamal Hill is able to recover so they can make that fight sometime, mid 2024. And that's that. Now let's move on to the co-main event because that one surprised me, guys. I picked Pavlovich to win by KO. I was debating on that fight as well, but I was really confident that Pavlovich was going to be able to catch him that first round. I just thought Aspinall kind of lifts his chin up in the air. But obviously we all agreed, even the people that picked Pavlovich, that Aspinall is of course the more well-rounded fighter. He has more ways to win. Aspinall can win by KO, by submission. He's really good on the ground. He's really good in the clinch. He's incredibly fast, which is something that we all mentioned, that Jesus, Aspinall is just really, really fast. And Pavlovich did catch him with some good punches in that first round, but Aspinall was all right. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he was necessarily hurt. He was able to move out of the way and stuff like that. And he just clipped Pavlovich like badly, man. It was nasty. It was nasty what Aspinall was able to do. And the fact that he did this on a 2 weeks notice is absolutely incredible. Props to Aspinall. This guy's the future of the heavyweight division. I love this, man. I love this for the future, for the heavyweight division, because at least now there's some clarity. And John Jones is not the champion of the heavyweight division, man. John Jones is doing his own side quest. The real fans know that Aspinall right now is the undisputed champion of the heavyweight division. And if I was the UFC, I would say, you know what, Stipe Miocic, he's old, he's 42 years old, he's coming off a brutal loss to Francis Ngannou last time he's fought. So it's not like Stipe is all of a sudden on this win streak and then he retired and then now he's coming back to fight John Jones. No, Stipe Miocic is coming off a brutal head kick KO, not head kick KO, a brutal loss to Francis Ngannou. So in my opinion, it just makes no sense to really make that Stipe Miocic fight, besides the fact that John Jones wants that as his legacy, because he's pretty much banking on the fact that MMA fans 10 years from now are not going to remember that Stipe Miocic hadn't fought in 3 years, that was 42 years old. So it's going to look good on paper. But the real fans know that Stipe Miocic is not the best heavyweight currently right now on the planet. The real best heavyweight on the planet is Tom Aspinall. And he showed it. He showed it, man. And Pavlovich was a very dangerous opponent. This guy is good. So that's why Aspinall's performance over Pavlovich is absolutely impressive. I mean, look at the win streak that Pavlovich had been in. He was on a 6-7 fight win streak, all by first round KO. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like Pavlovich was some bum. Pavlovich is absolutely a great fighter. Sad to see him go out because I'm also a big fan of Pavlovich, but it is what it is. It's a fight game. He got caught, he got knocked out, and it's very impressive performance by Aspinall. And like I said, not my best picks, but these were fights that were 50-50. You know what I'm saying? You really can't shit on anyone because these are 50-50 fights. You know, Pereira could have gotten KO'd, Aspinall could have gotten KO'd. It was just that type of fight, and today I wasn't lucky, you know. It didn't go my way. But, I mean, how can you be disappointed on this card, man? Aspinall looked incredible. Pereira looked incredible. Was able to come back after he faced adversity in that second round and was able to hurt Yuri Prochazka. So the main event and the co-main event were absolutely incredible. And even the women MMA fight, Andrade versus Dern, was a banger. It was fun. Was it the most technical fight? No. But it was entertaining, to say the least. Very entertaining and very weird game plan by Mackenzie Dern. I thought she was going to grapple a little bit more, but she seemed to be want to strike with Andrade. But Andrade, you know, very short, very compact. That short reach kind of helps catch Mackenzie Dern in some of the exchanges. And Mackenzie Dern was a little bit too comfortable fighting in the pocket, in my opinion. And she got caught for it. And Andrade is a girl that we've seen has a lot of power at strawweight. So I'm not really sure what Mackenzie Dern's game plan was going into this fight, so it was very weird, but Andrade was able to pretty much destroy her in the second round and finish her by TKO. And then, what was the fight? Benil Saint-Denis versus Matt Frevola. Amazing fight, man. Amazing fight. Great fight. I thought Frevola, even though he got head kick KO, had a great performance. I thought he was doing really well in the grappling exchanges. He got up. You know, Benil Saint-Denis, very good fighter, man. This guy's a real contender. I've seen his last two fights live. And I really think this guy, has a bright future in the lightweight division. I mean, we know that lightweight division is a very stacked division, and I don't want to necessarily say that this guy's a future champion because we've seen how sometimes we hype up these new contenders and then they get to the top of the division and they get fraud checked. But I still think Benny Saint Denis has really good MMA skills, really good grappling, has a lot of power. He has a lot of power, and we even though we didn't really get to see it in this fight, he also has a really good chin. He has really good durability. And yeah, I mean, sad for Matt Favola, he got caught. He got caught. He kind of thought that he was too far away for Benicio Denise to catch him, but Benicio Denise was able to catch him with that head kick, which is absolutely incredible. It was also one of those fights where I wish it would have gone a little bit longer, but it is what it is. Incredible performance by Benicio Denise, and he probably should fight like a top 10 lightweight in my opinion, not a top 5. That's a little bit too much in my opinion. I mean, I'm trying to think who's right now a top 10 lightweight contender. Is it Hooker, Bobby Green? Let me check. Who's a top 10 lightweight right now? Lightweight rankings. UFC. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so we have Armin Sarukin as number 10, Bobby Green, Rafael Fiziev. I think that Benicio Denise should fight maybe the loser of Armin Sarukin versus Benil Dariush. I think that would be a very good fight. I mean, maybe if Dustin Poirier is up for it, because look, Dustin Poirier doesn't have a fight book. Justin Gaethje's gonna wait for the winner of Islam versus Charles. So Gaethje's, I don't really see him fighting Gaethje. And then Dariush has a fight with Armin Sarukin. I mean, maybe a Mateusz Gamrot. That makes sense. I mean, Michael Chandler is gonna fight Conor McGregor, so he's out. Bobby Green is fighting Dan Hooker. And then Rafa Fiziev, obviously he's injured. Maybe Grant Dawson. But I think Benicio Denise needs a little bit of a higher step up because Benicio Denise right now he's ranked number 13 in the lightweight division. Grant Dawson's ranked number 12. So I would want to see Benicio Denise maybe fight number 9 or number 8. So I think Saint Denis should fight the loser of Armin Sarukin and Benil Dariush. I think that makes a lot of sense. So I would love to see that. I think this guy has a lot of potential. I think he is 2-3 fights away from fighting for a title. And I really want to see this guy fight the top lightweights. I want to see him fight like a Dustin Poirier, Gaethje, maybe even potentially a Charles Oliveira. We'll see what happens with that fight with Islam Makhachev. But very exciting. It's good to see some contenders in the lightweight division because it feels like it's been a bit stagnant lately. I mean, I thought a lot of people were hyping up Graham Rod. A lot of people were hyping Benil Dariush. And I feel like they kind of got sent back. And now we're back to the Gaethjes, the Dustin Poiriers, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens in the lightweight division. Hopefully they give him they book him a fight soon because Saint Denis really took no punishment in that fight. It was a first round head kick KO. So clean performance by Benicio Saint Denis. This guy's absolutely the real deal. And Matt Favola was looking absolutely unstoppable. I mean, he knocked out Drew Dober back in May, which was an incredible KO. So props to both fighters. Everybody brought it on this card, man. UFC 295 was absolutely incredible. Now let's go to my boy Diego Lopes, the GOAT. Diego Lopes is the GOAT of MMA, man. This guy's a future champion. This guy's going to destroy Topuria and Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Just kidding. That might be a little bit too soon, but he looked absolutely incredible, I did think Diego Lopes was going to win by KO TKO. I thought he was going to get a finish here. Pat Sabatini, he's a wrestler and he hasn't shown the best chin. So, it was getting a little bit dicey, right? Because in the first round, Pat Sabatini really hurt Diego Lopes, but Diego Lopes was able to come back and hurt Pat Sabatini with a right hand that put him down and he was out and was able to finish him with ground and pound shots. Incredible performance by Diego Lopes. I mean, this guy's living up to the hype. So I think they should give him a step up in competition, man. Step up in competition now. And I think he should fight maybe like a Dan Ige. I think Dan Ige versus Diego Lopes would be a good step up. I don't think they should give him somebody too high up in the weight class. Let me see the rankings. Let me look at the rankings for the featherweight division. Okay. Yeah, I would give him like a maybe Billy Quarantino. Cub Swanson. No. I think Dan Ige makes sense. Dan Ige is coming off that loss to Bryce Mitchell. Very close fight. I think they should give Diego Lopes a fight with Dan Ige. I mean, Yeah, he would be skipping over Billy Quarantino, Cub Swanson, Nedson Barboza. But I think Diego Lopez deserves it. I mean, he stepped in on short notice to fight Mozra Evloev on a week's notice. He absolutely deserves to get like somebody at least in the top 12, top 11 in my opinion. Bryce Mitchell's coming off a win to Dan Ige. So I think Diego Lopez should fight Danny Ige. I think that would be a very interesting matchup. We've seen that Danny Ige is very good on the feet, so I'd be very excited to see that matchup maybe sometime mid next year. But like I said, Diego Lopez put an absolutely incredible performance. Yeah, great card overall. I'm sure I'm gonna make more videos actually breaking down the fights, but this is my raw reaction to UFC 295, guys. An absolutely incredible card from start to finish. A lot of finishes, not a lot of decisions earlier in the prelims. There was a couple of decisions, guys, but overall it was an amazing card. And props to Pereira, props to Aspinall. And when it comes to Aspinall, he should fight John Jones next, man. That's the fight to make. It's very weird to make an interim title and not for the interim to fight the undisputed champion. It's very weird, you know what I'm saying? So like, is Tom Aspinall gonna wait this whole time to see what happens between John Jones and Stipe? It makes no sense, man. And the UFC should force John Jones that, even though they think that the Stipe fight is going to be a huge fight, I think the fight between Aspinall and John Jones would be even bigger, in my opinion, especially with Aspinall's performance today. I think Aspinall has the potential to be a very big star. And I think legacy-wise, if he beats Aspinall, it's going to look really good, man. It's going to look really good. But I mean, I could see both sides, right? Because I could see how John Jones is going to say, well, Stipe Miocic is considered the heavyweight GOAT and I want to beat that guy. You know what I'm saying? So I get on paper, it makes sense for John Jones to fight Stipe Miocic. But I just think in terms of a more competitive matchup and who's the best right now, I'd rather see Aspinall versus John Jones. That's pretty much my take, guys. But anyway, that is my raw reaction for UFC 295, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this card, guys. And make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.